I thought I'd do a quick tutorial around how to create a transparent PNG file. Now maybe you've found a graphic or an icon off Google Images, or maybe you've been doing some work in Microsoft Paint or another paint tool and created a bitmap, a JPEG or a GIF image, but you've got a boundary area of your image that you don't want to show when you include that graphic in your HSTouch design program. Now, if your background of your HSTouch program was like a dark color, for example, and I'd use the graphic I've got on this screen here, which is an on button, the white boundary area would show up around that button, which is not what I'm after. I really only want the blue section here, the writing, and the actual part of the button showing. So what we can do is we can select areas of this image that we want to make transparent, and that's where the PNG format becomes useful. So I'm using a tool here called Gimp. It's freely available off the web. I've opened up the particular button file. This is a JPEG file that I created earlier, and we can go through the process of creating the transparency on it. Now there's two ways that you can go about doing it within Gimp. One, you can do it based on a particular color, and everything that's color could be converted to transparency, or the second one you can do via selection. Now if I was to go down the path of doing it based on color, perhaps I chose white, it would also do the writing here and parts of this part of the button as well. So when I put it onto a background, whatever my background color was would start to show through in the writing and parts of the button, which is not really what I'm after. For this, I really only want the outside white boundary area to be selected and converted to transparency, so I just don't see that. So to do that, I can go to the Tool menu under Select Tools. There's an option here called Fuzzy Select. Once I've selected that, I can go to my image, choose the area that I want to convert to transparency, and I can click on it. Now this is a fairly simple shape that I've got here. If you had a more complex shape with more curves and areas, you can adjust the Fuzzy Select tool to do more than just the one. You can control click to do several areas, or you can click the mouse and move it left or right or up and down, and that will increase the sensitivity of the area that it selects. But by default, a single click in this case has actually selected the area I want to modify. So now I've selected this outside boundary area, I can go to the color menu and down to color to alpha. So in this case, the preview actually shows what would happen if I'd selected white as the boundary area. But because I've only selected this outside area here, it's only going to modify that area. So what it does, you choose the color that you want to turn to transparent. In this case, my outside area is white, so I'll leave it white. And then I click the OK button. So now as you see, it's actually converted this outside area to a transparent, and all I will see now when I put this on my HSTouch project is just the blue, the writing, and the button part here. So I'm ready to go. I can now go to File and down to Export. In this case, I'm going to choose a PNG format, which I can choose from the drop-down menu. It's already selected. Set the file name. In this case, it's just an on button, so I'll call it on.png and hit Export. The selections down here by default are okay, but it will change the compression level to 9, which is to make the file as small as possible. But what that does do is if you've got rendered graphics with different shading of colors, in this case the blue's got several shades of blue in it, if you change that compression too high, it'll make a small file, but you'll lose some of the integrity of the colors and the shading. So while it's slightly larger, I just leave mine at 0. Makes a slightly larger file, but it keeps the colors as I originally had them. Once I've done that, hit Export. That'll save the file to your directory where you were saving before, and you're ready to go. So now I'll just jump across to the HSTouch Designer project and show you the difference between the original JPEG file and the newly created one, which we've just created as a transparent PNG. And now that HSTouch Designer is open, I can show you the difference between the two images. On the left is the original JPEG format file with the white boundary, and on the right is the newly created PNG format with a transparent background. So this is just a basic project screen here with a slate grey background, and as you can see with transparency on, you can see the background behind it. Anyway, that's a quick little tutorial on how to do it, and hopefully that'll help someone.